guys, I'm Siobhan, a first-year medical resident. Today is all about answering your questions. I love reading your comments. Some of them make me laugh, others make me actually stop and think about the medical field and reflect on it. And to really show my appreciation, I'm going to start adding in a Q&A with a featured question and then answer it at the end of all my future videos, just to let you guys know that I'm reading your comments and then you won't have to wait until the next Q&A. Okay, so let's get started. Val is asking, why don't you drive? So I used to drive, and it's really something new this year for me actually. So now I'm taking the bus, I'm biking when it's good weather, and then often if I'm running late in the morning I'll take an Uber, or if it's raining or something. But for me, I find it keeps me more active, I don't have to find parking, and actually if I was crunching the numbers, it's cheaper for me as well. Next, Brockway Babe is asking, do you have any interests beside your work in violin? Okay, so clearly you guys mostly see work in violin, but yes, I definitely have other interests. I love being active. I think it's fun to be active when you're doing something, so I like obstacle runs, things like Mud Hero. We've got some stairs in town. I love to go run up and down them. And I really love traveling. We get a good 4 weeks in residency to travel. My big trip after graduating medical school was going to Asia with 2 of my close friends. So that was amazing. We went to Thailand and then to China, and we walked the Great Wall. I also grew up in a family that loves to do these long distance hikes, and so that's a huge passion of mine now. We've actually hiked all the way across Spain. Seriously. We hiked all the way across Spain, and we had to do it in 2-week chunks, so we did 2 weeks and 2 weeks, so it took about a month to hike all the way with everything on your back. It's an incredible way to experience a country, get to see the food, meet the people, and then you're active and you're outdoors the whole time, so it was really cool. So Alana's asking, what's your favorite meal to eat when you're off? So I would say that if I'm going out for a meal, I love getting Thai curries, just because I don't make them at home, so it feels like a treat. But the real treat for me, what I really love to have, is cookie dough. And I'm a bit of a cookie monster. And this stuff is so good. And it must be good for you because it's organic, right? Okay, so this one I've been getting a lot, and I've been seeing that you guys have been guessing my age. So I'm 27 years old. And yes, patients definitely will ask how old I am or ask if I'm too young to be a doctor. But you know, you laugh it off. Kaley's asking, what's the craziest thing you've witnessed in the hospital? So I would say in medical school, that was when I was shadowing a cardiac surgeon, and you see someone's chest opened up and you're actually looking at their heart. And then I had my hand in someone's chest and I could feel their heart beating, and as I was stabilizing their heart. To me, that was something out of Grey's Anatomy. There you go. It was crazy. But of course, I'm not a surgeon. I don't do that on a daily basis. And as a resident right now in internal medicine, I would say one of the crazier things is called putting in an interosseous line. So that's basically when someone is very sick and their veins have all collapsed and you can't actually get an IV in, that we can actually drill into someone's shin or sort of into their arm here, and you can just pump in fluid. And that's one of those ways you can really save someone's life quickly. But it's really crazy because he's basically working with a power drill, so it looks pretty crazy. So Clifford's asking, if you had to choose a different residency path, what would it be? I would probably say either obstetrics gynecology, because I love women's health, or something like family medicine, which is really broad and you get a chance to make those relationships with patients that last over a lifetime, and I think that's really special. So SnowAlec is asking, do you still have time to play the violin with all your shifts? And yes, I definitely do have the time, and I do still play, but to be honest, it's a strange thing when you go from something that used to be your work. So it was the thing that you didn't want to procrastinate. It was the thing that you had to do, like studying for me, was practicing the violin. And to go from that to turning it into my hobby and the thing that I'm doing for fun and enjoyment has actually been a bit of a challenge, but it really helps when I have concerts or things coming up, because then I practice more and I always love when I'm playing. So Joyfish is asking, what inspired you to vlog about residency? Partly it's for me that I've never really been good at writing journals. I've tried to so hard, but for whatever reason, actually talking about experiences, I'm much more likely to actually do it. So I love talking on the phone if something happens, and so I found it really easy to talk to you guys about experiences in residency. And the other part is that there's something sort of hidden about the medical world. There's not a lot that the public gets to see, and so I wanted to try to demystify it, and there's so many things that I've learned throughout medical school and residency that I wish I'd known before and that are just so amazing, so I wanted to bring that to you guys. So Emmy's asking, what province do you live in? That's from a fellow Canadian. So I live in Ontario, and that's right in between Quebec on one side and Manitoba on the other. And I was actually born in Manitoba, in Winnipeg. So Emco's asking, what's your favorite color? Purple. Purple is definitely my favorite color, and I've noticed that all of my jackets, or at least the fall jackets, are all purple, and so are my shoes that I wear on call. So I think I might need to branch out soon. So Roque wants to know, if you weren't a doctor, what profession would you like to be doing? So I guess the obvious answer is violin, because I was a violinist before, but I could also say pro tennis player, but then I would actually need to be good at tennis. I love playing, but definitely don't have those kind of skills. So Sarah Rose is asking, what happens when you get sick? Like more than just a little cold. So I think doctors are the worst patients. They often don't want to take care of themselves and their health, but I really believe that it's incredibly important to be your best self for your patients, but also so that you don't make your patients sick. So definitely I've stayed home in the past, and I think no one gets upset with you. People are supportive and they understand that people get sick. This is what we deal with sick patients all the time. We've got to be compassionate to ourselves as well. So Tian wants to know, have you ever been squeamish, and how do you get over it? I don't know if this counts as squeamish, but I find it difficult watching when patients are in pain, especially when we are inflicting the pain. And I'm sure that's probably normal for a lot of people, but in medical school I find myself sort of pulling at my jacket or curling up my hands because I found it tough. An example of that would be getting bone marrow aspiration. So basically you've got to drill down into someone's bone and you're sucking out some of the marrow, and that's incredibly uncomfortable for them. But the way that I got over that, as much as you can, or that I can manage it, I should say, is that you think about why you're doing this and why it's so important for that patient. So in these scenarios, often we're trying to figure out if someone has cancer, and if they did, for instance, you could save their life with a treatment. So it's so important to get that information. And I think if you focus on that rather than on the pain, then you can be really doing the best service you can to that patient. Man, so many good questions. So next question here is, how do you deal with self-doubt, if at all, as you transition from medical school to residency? So definitely there's self-doubt, absolutely. It's such a big transition and you still feel it all the time. And I've come to realize that that is a good thing. So when you have self-doubt, it helps you figure out where your boundaries are. How much do you know? When are you starting to get into a territory where you're not as comfortable and need to ask for help? So partly it's a safety thing. I think it's your body giving you a warning sign. It can also be really motivating because it makes you want to study. And then I guess the other part is that it's actually normal. It's really normal because we care and we want to be our best self. So reaching out and talking to friends and learning that they're all feeling the same way sort of takes away some of that stigma that you've got to be perfect, you've got to have all the answers, but instead makes you realize that it's normal, that residents are still in a learning phase, and that's why we have supervisors. So it's normal to feel that way, and you will work through that. So Abby Cat is asking, tell us about your family. Too many siblings? So maybe the really cool thing about my family is that we have a really diverse background. So I've got family all across the world. So my dad, in terms of his heritage, is half German and half Polish, whereas my mom is half Indian and half Irish. So it's been really cool to be able to travel and meet family and cousins everywhere. So recently, a couple of years ago, I was in India and I had the chance to meet all these cousins who were in Bangalore. It was really so exciting to feel connected to people across the world. So Pug Mom is asking, what shampoo, conditioner, hair product do you use? Your hair always looks so great, even after 24 hours. So that's so sweet, because sometimes I think it looks like a total mess, especially when I wake up from a nap. Let me see, let me go and grab what I get. Okay, so I don't do anything too special. This is the shampoo that I use. It's Dead Head. I just use the regular shampoo and conditioner. But I think the trick for long hair anyway is this. So I use a Moroccan oil, and I don't think there's anything special about the brand. I'm not being sponsored by anyone. It's just what I use. And I put it on when my hair is wet, because honestly, otherwise I can't even brush my hair when I get out of the shower, because otherwise it'll have tangles in it. So this sort of fixes everything. That's what I use. Okay, so last question. Battleborn is asking, what if you can't read another doctor's handwriting and that's on the patient's chart? Oh my gosh, yes, that does happen sometimes, and it's super frustrating. Right now, a lot of hospitals are moving more towards like an electronic system, so that won't be as much of an issue in the future, but it still happens. Last time that happened to me, you just hope that you can actually read the doctor's name, and at that point, I usually just page them or call them and ask them to clarify what they were saying in the document. And really, people have no problem with it, but I think if it's someone who's a lot more senior to you, then sometimes it feels a little bit awkward to call them up, but it's never stopped me so far. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for contributing such awesome comments. This was just a little bit of so many comments that are out there. I do read all of them as they pop up on my phone during the day, but because I'm sort of out and doing things, I'm really struggling to answer all of them. Just know that I'm hearing you. For all of you in the US right now, have an awesome, wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. Fun fact is that Canadians celebrate Thanksgiving in October, so I've already been stuffed with turkey last month. So bye for now, and I will chat you guys later.